Hey there, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Audible Sports Podcast. My name's Casey, and today I will be going into the realm of sports betting. I'm going to be bringing you some of my favorite NFL futures bets for this upcoming season. We will be talking about future player prop bets and my favorite over-under team win total bets. At the end, I will bring you my absolute best bet for futures, but let's get things started. Let's head over to the betting board here. And we are going to start with the preseason player prop bets over on the right over here. And my first bet that I really like is Antonio Gibson getting under 824 rush yards this year. With what Washington did in the offseason, they may go to a 2 or 3 bet committee this year. They almost lost J.D. McKissick in the offseason when he agreed to a 2-year deal with the Buffalo Bills, but he ultimately decided to stay in Washington. The Commanders also drafted Brian Robinson out of Alabama in the 3rd round of the 2022 draft. And in the opening days of training camp, Robinson has been getting a lot of first-team snaps in the opening days. Robinson and McKissick will definitely steal some carries from Gibson this upcoming season. But the injury bug has also hit Gibson in the past with shin issues that he's had. And, of course, nobody ever wants to see anybody get injured. But it's something to factor in. If Washington goes with the 3-back committee this year, give me the under 824 rushing yards for Antonio Gibson. The next player I want to go over is from the Green Bay Packers. And no, it's not Aaron Jones. It's actually A.J. Dillon. I really like A.J. Dillon this year, and I think he's going to go over 875.5 rush yards. Aaron Jones is the most tenured player on the Packers roster behind Aaron Rodgers. Jones is probably the most talented player on the Packers roster currently, with Devontae Adams leaving. Last year, Jones finished with 799 rush yards, and Dillon finished with 803. So Dillon actually outgained Jones last year, though by the smallest of margin, he still outgained him. The departure of Adams in the offseason could open up more work for both backs, and I think A.J. Dillon is too talented for the Packers to not utilize him more in an expanded role this season. I like Dillon a lot this year, and if he can stay healthy all year, give me the over 875.5 rushing yards. The next player I want to touch up on here is Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens. I have Lamar Jackson under 950.5 rush yards this year. Lamar Jackson has gone over 1,000 rush yards 2 seasons in his career. I think it was 2019-2020. Both seasons he played in 15 games. He played in only 12 games last year. He missed the final 4 games of the regular season with an ankle injury, if you guys remember. If you're on the over here, you're kind of banking on Jackson playing at least 15 games and not being limited in any way. With Baltimore also getting their running backs back from a year ago from injury. I mean, they lost Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, everybody was injured even their defense was injured. But Jackson shouldn't have to run as often. It doesn't mean that he won't run when he can, because he will. He's definitely going to take off on a lot of plays this year. I just think that coming off an ankle injury, Baltimore will be smarter on how they utilize their star quarterback. If they do that, I think Jackson gets close to 950.5 rushing yards, but not over. I really do like the line at 950.5 because I think it's going to be close, but I don't think he goes over 950.5, and that's why I like Lamar Jackson under 950.5. The next thing we're going to touch up on is preseason team win totals. The first team I'm going to have over here is the New Orleans Saints. I have the New Orleans Saints over 8 wins. I think New Orleans has the best defense in the NFC, and if this team can stay healthy, we can definitely see them going over 8 wins in the season. In my team ranks, I have the Saints projected to go 10-7 this year, and you guys can see our team ranking video. It was one of the first videos we ever posted, but you guys can see that in our channel here. The only real question mark I have on this team is Alvin Kamara with his off-field issues. Will he miss time? And if he does, how much time? Regardless, I still expect the Saints to be a solid squad this year, and I expect them to go over 8 wins this season. I don't see how they don't win at least 8 wins, but New Orleans is one of my top picks here. The next team I want to touch up on is the Miami Dolphins. I have the Miami Dolphins going over 8.5 wins this season. For the most part, I think it's very, very hard to pick any AFC team to go over their win totals they've been given this year, because the AFC is just so tough. There are so many talented teams in the AFC this year. I have Miami projected at 10-7, just like I have the Saints at 10-7. Miami's schedule is very favorable for them at times this year, playing the Lions, the Bears in the NFC North. They play the Jets twice. The Jets could steal one from Miami, though. And they also play the Texans. They got better in the offseason, and the Dolphins can be in the playoffs this year with all the talent that they added on offense. They got Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel, all added to their roster this season. The Dolphins play in a tough AFC East, and they also play the AFC North this year. I think they will definitely win games this year and could surprise some people. Give me the Dolphins over 8.5 wins this year. We've done a couple overs here. Let's do an under. Under team. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars under 6.5 wins this year. I think the Jaguars improved on their 3-win season from a year ago. They took out my Colts and took us out of the playoffs. I'm really upset about that still. But I think that they have a ton of work to do. They did great in the offseason, but having a great offseason does not guarantee wins. Newly hired head coach Doug Peterson is definitely an upgrade from Urban Meyer last year. I think with the team the Jaguars have this year, they could possibly achieve 6 wins. That's the most I think they can get, though. I am predicting the Jags at 4-13. That's where I think they're going to be at the end of the year. But they could win more. Give me the under, though. I don't think they can win over 6. The under 6.5, I mean, it's a great bet for me. Now we're moving on to my best bet of the NFL preseason. My best bet for NFL futures is the Chicago Bears under 6.5 wins. There is no way that the Bears even eclipse 7 wins, if you ask me. I think their offensive line got worse in the offseason. They lost Allen Robinson, and they gave Justin Fields absolutely no help in the offseason. I just feel like this team is going to tank. Justin Fields is an extremely talented QB that's in a bad situation. Most of his teammates are nowhere near the talent that he needs around him. This team is just going to absolutely struggle to win games this season. They might steal 1 or 2 games in their division this year, might even win against the Jets in the AFC East. Just so we're clear, I think the Jets are a better team than the Bears this year. I think this is the absolute best bet you can make on a futures bet when it comes to team wins this year. The Bears are in a transition year. They're a mess, and they are not going to win over 6.5 games this year. Give me the under on this team. And there you guys have it. These are my favorite preseason prop bets I will be jumping on this year. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you agree or disagree, leave a message down in the comments down below. Our first live stream is going live in about a week, August 9th at 7:30 Central Time. Be there. You can interact with us. It'll be a fun time. This is the Audible Sports Podcast. My name's Casey, and I will see you on the next one.